Morning, everybody. Want to quickly kind of go over your instructions for the week. As you got my message yesterday, you now know that we are heading into new instruction time. So the review stuff, the stuff that doesn't count, is now over. So let me just take a couple seconds here and just explain what that means. As of right now, we can start teaching you new material. Also, as of right now, we're being told that anything that we put in the grade book will be considered to be informal. Um, I don't know what's the rationale there. I don't know if eventually we'll be able to put in formal grades at some point. If it only is informal, they would still all ultimately just make up your full grade. So whatever. But everything you'll see in the grade book, at least for the time being, will be listed as informal. But it will be the only thing in the grade book, so it still carries full weight, not 30% weight. So please don't in your head think that I don't need to do it. It's only 30%. I think that's a false idea. All right, now with that being said, you should see in front of you right now, and I've already sent this to you, or we'll send it to you shortly, your instructions for the week. Now, one of the big things that we have to deal with is this new AP exam. I will probably do another video and an update on the third. Last time they posted this stuff on the around 11 o'clock in the morning, noon. So I'll let you know. I'll put some together afterwards. But here's what we know about the AP exam. We know that it's going to be 45 minutes. We know it's going to be done online. We know that it can be done on a computer, it can be done on a phone. It sounds as if they will even allow you to do it on paper and then upload images of your writing. It sounds like they're going to try to be as flexible as possible in this process. Now, I have my theories. I'll kind of wait until they give me further clarification. But the last little thing we want to mention about the AP exam is that it will cut off with this unit. So once we get through World War II, none of that content will appear. Anything from the second half of the 19, or sorry, second half of the 20th century to the modern day will not be on your test. Um, Also, some of you have asked me through messages like, can I get additional outside review information? Absolutely. You've had it the entire time. So if you go onto Canvas, which we'll pull up right here, right near the top, it says helpful review websites. So these are websites that are run by professional teachers who are very good at what they do. They have reviews, they have key tips, they have all this stuff, right? So if you're looking for something other than me, I would recommend going here. Now, the other thing I added just the other day is the College Board has started to do these lecture series themselves. They are going to basically review the material for the test. Now, they've posted one as of today that happened to be for units 8, which is not going to be on your test. So I don't know what they're doing. But I'll assume, and we know what happens when we assume, that they will eventually post out stuff that covers the actual material on the test. So this is the link right here. Hopefully, they will begin to put out more material that's more related to what will actually be on your exam. All right. Also, besides these websites, you will notice, again, these have been here for a while. These are pulled from one of those like big review books, but it's an even simpler version than what you'll find in the AMSCO. Obviously, this one down here doesn't matter. I'll leave it there anyway, but these would be the ones that you might want to look at. So my suggestion is this, to maybe start to go through this stuff right here and slowly work your way through it. I don't have reading guides for it. I don't have anything like that for it, but at least that's something that's helpful. And then down here, a couple other things I provided for you that might be good for you to start reviewing. Major essay topics the last 15 years. Obviously, there won't be essays, but I wouldn't be shocked if the topics don't somehow pop up. Again, we'll know more on the third. And then this is a huge comprehensive review of all the presidents, but also all the stuff that's happening as their president. So you kind of get this linear timeline of both history, like broad trends in history, but also who the presidents are and what they specifically did. And I will probably put together some stuff to make us to work on this. But that's all there for you. It's been there for about 2 months. So maybe you want to take a look at that. Now let's talk about the other stuff. So typically we would do instruction from Monday through Sunday, right? I would give you your instructions on a Monday morning. You'd have basically the full week to get it done. This is a little different. We're getting this stuff on a Wednesday. So kind of what I've decided to do is make it almost Wednesday to Wednesday, or actually Wednesday to the next Sunday, if that makes sense. So what you'll have here, a couple things. There are the reading quizzes for the Great Depression, World War II. Many of you have already done them, so that's just off your list. Don't worry about it. That's old work. Also, there was a quick write that you guys are supposed to do in the 1920s, which I pushed to fourth quarter. Again, many of you probably have already done that. So I don't really consider that to be new work. I consider that stuff you should have done already. So I'm don't feel like you're being overwhelmed by what I'm asking you to do. Just as a guideline, as we've been told, each teacher should be giving you about 2 hours worth of work total a week. Each teacher, not a day, a week. I feel as if what I've given you is pretty reasonable. I feel as what I've given you is meets that standard that is in line with that. If you have problems or you're having issues, I want to stress this to you. I have been told, we've all been told that we are supposed to be flexible with you. We know that this is crazy, weird times. That some of you have already told me you're working long hours, you're having technology issues, all these things. And guess what? Like we hear you, and we're going to be flexible with you. This is more about trying to pace yourself, right? We're in a weird predicament here, where we need to finish some new material, but also prepare for an exam. So again, I apologize if you feel like I'm overloading you, but keep in mind, certainly the things that are up here were things you should have taken squared away even before, or thought about squaring away before we even went on this strange little break here in the middle. Now let's talk about the new stuff. All right, some of you have already been doing this, which is fantastic. You've noticed that I have made these video lectures where I kind of go through my PowerPoints. And so if you haven't watched one, let me just kind of give you the rundown here. I start each one of them with kind of like, here's the topic, here's what you will need. So every lecture I give, there's going to be some note-taking sheet. You don't have to use it. You can just take notes if you want to take notes or not take notes and see how that works out for you. So the idea would be that for first thing, we're going to do the Great Depression. I'll lecture you through the causes, short-term and long-term, or long-term and shocks to the system. Then I want you to watch a brief video from the same series about the 1920s, but this one's about Hoover's response. And that's the focus of the video. We want to understand what Hoover did and didn't do to solve the Great Depression. And then there's a quick write. So for all the assignments I'm going to give you, I'm going to give you a multi-part quick write. We're basically going to have to demonstrate knowledge. Yes, these will be graded. Yes, they will count. All right. Now, why do I think they're kind of really important to do? Because I envision that this will be the format for the AP exam. Some short quick writes. I don't think they're going to give you a DBQ and say that's it. I don't think they're going to give you an essay and say that's it. They're definitely not giving you multiple choice. So I think it's really super important that we get as comfortable with these quick writes as possible. So you're going to be getting a lot of them from me. So Great Depression, video lectures, watch a video, quick write. That is not a huge time consuming thing. Also, one last thing about the quick writes. They are timed. So you want to give yourself, you want to make sure you're going prepared to take it, right? So just sit down. If you hit start, I'm warning you now, don't do it. All right. Wait, have your notes in front of you, and then click on it. All right. And I'm not trying to trick you. All the topics are the things that are going to be major topics that we're talking about. All right. Next thing, the New Deal. By the way, let me just show you this so that you know where everything is. All right. So if we scroll down here, everything that we have for this unit is, as you can see, so let's just take the Great Depression right here. All right, there's the lecture PowerPoint. Cool. Here are the links to the lecture videos. Here is the handout. Here's that video about Hoover, and here's the video guide that goes with it. All right, and then here's the quick write. So as I said, like I tried to make this as systematic as possible. When you're looking for things, do me a favor. Don't send me your mind message saying, I can't find it. I'm going to tell you, click on home and scroll down. So go ahead and click on home and scroll down. It's all in order. All right. Now, the next topic or the next thing you got to worry about is the New Deal. Much bigger topic, should take a little bit longer. It's broken up into more parts. So the New Deal lecture PowerPoint. So I'm trying very hard to try to give you an experience at home that at least somewhat emulates what we do in class. So that means, a little bit of context on some of the stuff, and then you doing reading, you pulling information out, you making decisions, you trying to process, you trying to analyze. And so this is kind of what this is here for, right? You got to understand the 3 R's of the New Deal: relief, reform, recovery. And then we want to look at how the New Deal specifically helps certain groups, and did they help them by providing them relief, reform, or recovery, right? So then there will be these readings that go along with it. Make sure you have that when you're doing it, right? And then down here, I posted a chart for you on the first and second New Deal. I explained this in the video lecture. Uh, you should either between what we talk about in this lesson here have all that information, or between the readings you've done from the AMSCO book should have it. If there's a couple items that are not in those readings or in our lesson, go ahead and find them. Essentially, the New Deal has so many parts, but I don't want to create a lesson where I talk about all like 20 important pieces of significant legislation or changes or reforms. So it's on you to have done what I've asked you to do, get the big ideas, make sure you've done the AMSCO book and taken relatively good notes on it, and then put it together because this will come in handy when you do your quick write. The next two sections, challenges the New Deal. People didn't like the New Deal. They tried to fight it. Okay, who were they? Why did they fight it? Again, this section here is going to be basically watch the video, take notes, but they will be included in your quick write, so you do need to do them. All right, and then lastly, the last section for this unit or for this assignment is the New Deal by the numbers. Basically, what we're getting to is okay, did the New Deal actually work? Did the Great Depression end because of the New Deal? Was FDR successful in what he did? And what was the logic and rationale behind the changes he made? We'll talk about the three R's, but there's also an economic argument that we're going to want to pull out of here. Why did he do these things? And then you'll see this quick write. Now, a couple of things I want to point out. This quick write is longer than this quick write. All right, why? Because it's covering more material. It's going to cover the topics that you see on Canvas. So make sure, again, you've got notes and you're ready to go. Now, some of you have sent me messages on this and you've noticed, and I am not blocking it from you because I don't see the point of that. I've already started to push through material to cover World War II, the last topic for us. I'm not fully done with it. If you are that ambitious and you want to get a head start on it, by all means, it's sitting there. I'm not going to make it, quote, due until after spring break. But my 2 cents. Spring break is probably going to be a little more boring than normal, right? You're probably not going anywhere. Maybe get rid of all this stuff, get it out of the way. And then you can then intensify your review for the AP exam, right? So you don't have to do it. I'm not assigning it to you. Please don't go and get me in trouble by saying he's giving us too much work. Believe me, I'm trying not to do that. I'm just saying this will be available to you. The whole rest of the stuff for World War II, because I still have to finish up this stuff down here, will be available to you within the next day or so. If you just want to get it done, get it done. All right, and then you can do it, and we'll get the grades in later. All right, couple more quick things. One, I created this discussion board for you. The hope here is that you, if you have a question about what I'm teaching or what you're supposed to be learning, I'd like you to post it here. Think of this as the classroom, raising your hand. The reason I want you to do this is because many of you will probably, if there's something I didn't do a very good job explaining, if there's something I didn't necessarily, um, make clear, I'd rather have you post it here and I answer it once than me answering it 15 times, right? I, I think that just makes sense. And the last thing I mentioned in the last quiz, Google form, do you want live classes? I can certainly, looks like overwhelming you'd like to do something. My thought would be, I can use the discussion board questions and we can do kind of a Q&A to go over the stuff that you have questions on. I don't want to require you to do a whole lot of it because I know from what you guys have told me that you're not really able to meet at a specific time every day. Now, let me also just say this, a piece of advice. In this really weird time, I want to stress, I think it's really, really, really important that you guys somehow try to maintain a schedule. Uh, Going to bed at 4 o'clock in the morning and waking up at 1 o'clock in the afternoon is probably not in your best interest. Now, if it's because you're working a lot and that's just the way it is, and that's just the way it is, or you're taking care of somebody at home because your parents are working or somebody's sick, that is what it is, and it is, you do what you got to do. But for the rest of you who are not maybe facing those challenges, there is absolutely no reason for you to go into bed that late and waking up in the middle of the day. My schedule is not going to change much. If you need my assistance, just like you would at school, you need to be up and at school. All right. So, as I kind of said before, I'm going to try to maintain more traditional school hours in terms of my availability, but you should probably think about doing it the same. School, technically, they'll consider school from 9 to 1. I think that's the window they gave us. So do yourself a favor, try to at least adhere to that. Keep some normalcy in terms of schedule. All right, guys, I hope this is helpful. You should get this and the written instructions as well. I will see you later. Have a good one.